It is January 14th, 2022. Hi, Mom. How's it going? What are you knitting?
Gee,
Scarf?
no, I'm making a table runner for the kitchen,
Oh, kind of like a doily type thing.
like the TV.
Oh, the what's on the TV stand
Yeah,
for the kitchen? What
yeah.
for what on the
The
kitchen?
kitchen table.
Oh, the kitchen table. Is it going to be round
No, it's
or
going to be
square or
rectangular.
rectangular? Okay. So I got these nice chickpea tofu ricotta green lentil lasagna squares I made last night. Stored in a Ziploc bag.
Yeah, watch out it doesn't open.
I know, it turned out really good. No, it's sealed well. I make sure it's sealed as much as possible. So I don't want any. I don't want to have anything contaminate it. This is the tea kettle is a little dusty. All right, so the contraband you see at the Uchi Gucci Mocha Mochi cartel. Let's see. Oh, to get a pan out. It's 2:23 in the afternoon. Oops. It's illegal, right? Legal lasagna. I'm just joking. Who knows? I mean, it's not. That has no psychoactive principles other than the alpha-pinene and the coarsely ground black pepper that's in there. Just like turmeric. Turmeric has anti-inflammatory properties. Turmeric is known to have anti-inflammatory properties, but so does every other vegetable under the sun, basically. Alpha-pinene has more of a targeted type of anti-inflammatory property in there, but which is from the coarsely ground black pepper. This doesn't have turmeric in there, but it has lycopene from the tomato sauce. And I believe there's lycopene that occurs in turmeric, or it's beta carotene. There's beta carotene in turmeric, I believe. That's what gives it that orange pigment. There's beta carotene in the tomato sauce, yeah. Tomato paste. Carotenoids. And carotenoids are said to reduce chances or slowly eliminate or reverse those that may develop prostate cancer who are obviously men. So lycopene is healthy in that way. Tomato sauce, carrots that have beta carotene in it. Carotenoids. Yeah. But sometimes there are things that could be confused with other things. Like, in my case, a long time ago when I smoked the Determinant black cigarette, supposedly critiques, I don't know how to pronounce it right, they're Indonesian clove cigarettes. They sometimes have other ingredients other than just tobacco and cloves in there. Some of them, like the Dejarm specials, may have nutmeg in there, whereas I found out online on a different website that, clove cigarettes in general, not necessarily Dejarm specials or Dejarm blacks, sometimes they contain nutmeg in them and coriander, not coriander, wait, cardamom. Cardamom was one of them listed ingredients in there, and as well as black pepper, supposedly. And hold on. I may be wrong. Hold on a second. No, cardamom was one of the ones listed on the website I came across, I believe, as well as nutmeg. But both cardamom and the coarsely ground black pepper that I use coarsely ground black pepper in the sauce and also in the chickpea tofu ricotta part of this lasagna here. The black pepper has alpha-pinene in it, and so does, I believe, the cardamom. There's something about the two that had shared that alpha-pinene property in there, where cardamom is, I believe, was one of the ones listed that spices that they include in Dijon, not Dijons necessarily, but clove cigarettes. I'm not sure what brands, but I've had Dijon specials, and they had a bit of a pumpkin spice fragrance to them, which nutmeg is in, let's say, pumpkin spice. So that may have been the variety that may also have cardamom in there. And sometimes, or cardamom may be in the Dijon blacks, and it may not necessarily just be the cloves and the tobacco. People may assume that it would just, that those would be the only two elements in this, the cigar. But they look like cigarettes, and they used to be sold as cigarettes, but now they can only be sold as long as they're labeled as cigars. From what I heard is that you can still pick them up at like 7-Elevens and things like that. I can't, or newspaper stores, places that, or magazine stores sometimes if they sell tobacco products or specialized tobacco items. They usually have the Dijon blacks there. Or, like Quick Checks and things like that, 7-Eleven. I know that 7-Elevens supposedly still sell them. I looked up online. But I used to get them at, let's say, those type of 24-hour store, not pharmacies, but 24-hour type of, kind of like Quick Check or other places like 7-Eleven. Icky decky. I do notice when I did add cardamom as a spice to, let's say, seasoning one of the rice and black bean recipes I made, it does balance my emotional chemistry. Just like it's a stabilizer, I believe. Cardamom behaves very well as a stabilizer, and it may be because I was smoking those clove cigarettes years ago that may have had cardamom in there, and that's maybe the reason why I crave them sometimes. And not necessarily just the cloves, but it may have been something else in there that my chemistry, maybe feeling that when I included the cardamom in my rice and black bean mixture recipe, it filled in some of that desire. It reduced the craving for, let's say, the clove cigarettes at one point. Or I noticed it stabilized things a bit more too, where the coarsely ground black pepper comes in with alpha-pinene. It is like a muscle relaxant, and it kind of it makes me happy. You know what I mean? So it could be confused, let's say, where I was talking about where some things could be confused for other things, like for instance, if you some people may think that it's the turmeric that is behaving like the anti-inflammatory, and maybe but it may something else. Like, for instance, with if you buy, let's say, a beverage, and let's say the color of it is red, and they may think that it's caffeinated or something, but it may actually be decaffeinated because, let's say, one to feel like they just drank a caffeinated drink. That may be because they may use the raspberry juice powder in there that has there's a chemical structure that is an active metabolite or active ingredient that naturally occurs in raspberries within the fragrance of the raspberry, which is also known as the ketones, that are, let's say, heavily or more concentrated in a raspberry juice powder, in the powdered form, that where that chemical structure that's found within the ketones or fragrance of the raspberries behaves similarly to caffeine, or and has a chemical structure similar to what I had found out is called synephrine. It's similar to the chemical structure of synephrine, where like our brain hormones, one is called norepinephrine, epinephrine. So synephrine sounds similar, and it does behave similarly to, let's say, caffeine would react. And now, like, I add coarsely ground black pepper deliberately to my food sometimes, where it does taste like a pizza sauce, and then it adds a bit of a spicy note to, let's say, the chickpea tofu ricotta, but I also do it as a medicinal property to my food. See, I receive benefits from doing that. When I say benefits, I mean there's that beneficial property added to the food when I add certain ingredients to it that, let's say, reduces muscular aches and pains, makes me feel a bit happy, that type of thing, where it could be confused. Oh, is that some people, I was saying this morning to myself, oh, it's just probably all the sugar he's putting into his lemonade, right, that he drinks every day, or like, oh, where I was differentiating with let's say, when adding the carrageenan to, let's say, when I was making the same coffee drink as I made this morning the other day, 2 days ago, I included the carrageenan as the only other ingredient other than what I had made this morning with the soy milk, brown rice milk, organic cane sugar, and the filtered spring water. With the non-decaffeinated, freeze-dried, organic fair trade coffee. And with the carrageenan added to it the other day, I had a lot of mucus, whereas if I use the carrageenan in something that didn't include the coffee, but had used, let's say, the strawberry juice powder, freeze-dried strawberries powdered in there to make a strawberry soy milk with the brown rice milk powder, it doesn't, actually eliminates that whole mucus side effect of the carrageenan being added to the drink. You see what I'm saying? Because it's either the fiber or the folic acid that naturally occurs in a high concentration in the strawberries, the freeze-dried strawberries, may just react differently and assimilate differently. That's where some people would be like, oh, it's probably just the sodium that he includes, or that's causing his insomnia or something. Anyways, you can't just, like, completely zero in and just automatically, say that's the culprit of something. You have to kind of be like a wine taste tester. Like, that's what I do with the ingredients that I introduce to my foods. I do notice the difference. Whereas, like, in my case, because this goes as far back as when I first started being a vegan, and people were like, oh, it's probably just the chocolate that was causing but I drink chocolate, soy milks, and I don't get the same reaction in comparison to, let's say, years ago when I reintroduced 1 milligram of milk chocolate, and how I noticed it having an effect on my decision making, or being able to retract from what I thought was okay to do in some things, or following. There's this clip of Family Guy. 10 seconds is almost there. I'll post the clip about Family Guy about the same type of reaction that I get with casein.